What is up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video on my channel. My name is Josh Finn of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com. And today I am joined once again by Michael Darcy of KC Sports Report to preview this Cincinnati Bengals versus Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game. And if you guys didn't already hear me say it on Michael's channel, I'm actually going to this game. I just learned that earlier today. And let's hope for a Chiefs win. I needed to go to another game this season to avenge what happened in week 5 because I went to that game and it was horrible. The Bills game, if you guys can remember, terrible blowout plus the rain delay. I can't have that be my only game of the 2021 season. So going back for the AFC Championship and pulling for a win. But Michael, I got to ask you, what is your general feeling going into this game? How are you feeling? Are you confident? What's some of the first things that come to your mind when this game gets brought up?
Well, first of all, I'm so excited for you. Like, you said this live on my show, and you kind of just dropped it on me. But I'm so happy for you because this is going to be a great experience. Initial reaction, though, to this game, I think the Chiefs are overwhelmingly a better football team than the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are good, but as I've said in the past, I think they're kind of ahead of schedule. I think that they're going to be a really good team for years to come, but I think they kind of outkicked their coverage this year. I don't think anyone really expected them to be in this game. Now, a lot of people didn't expect the Chiefs to be in this game, but I think that the Bengals right now, they're playing on borrowed time. They're playing with house money. And that is a dangerous thing. But if you watch them play the Raiders, if you watch them play the Titans, it looked off because they weren't really able to score against either team. And the Raiders defense is horrible. And the Titans defense, they were all right. They sacked him 9 times. But if you watched how many times that Burrow didn't get rid of the ball, and even then it took 3 interceptions from Ryan Tannehill to win that game by 3. So I think that the Bengals, they're a cool story. It's a great Cinderella story. But Cinderella, the clock strikes midnight this Sunday.
Well, I mentioned it to you in the video that we did. The Bengals just have cooled off for whatever reason in the postseason. You mentioned it against the Raiders, didn't look great. The Titans gave them every single opportunity to run up the score in that game, and they come away with 19 points, a 3-point win. And the Titans have a good defensive front. Their pass defense, not great at all. And it's not like Jamar Chase tore them up and the Bengals put up 34. So if the Chiefs just don't make the same mistakes that they made in that Week 17 game, and thank goodness we actually have that Week 17 game to look back on and say, okay, yeah, we messed up. And now Spags and the coaching staff can try to adjust from what they did in that game. But yeah, if the Chiefs just play their game like they did against the Buffalo Bills, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't see why they wouldn't win this game. You don't win in the fashion that you did against the Buffalo Bills to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals at home in the AFC Championship game, a game in which you're experienced in. The Bengals aren't. Like you said, they're a year ahead of schedule. This just kind of feels like the year where they need that learning experience before they make a true postseason run. And I said this to you kind of off the bat in your channel on your video. The biggest matchup that stands out to me in this game is the trenches on both sides. I think the Chiefs, they have an overwhelmingly better just depth chart at on both sides at that line of scrimmage. The offensive line has gelled fantastically towards the end of the year here. They're playing fantastic. The defensive line, they took some time to heat up against the Bills, but they definitely came up clutch a few times there towards the end. Jaron Reed had a sack. Melvin Ingram destroyed the Buffalo Bills right tackle and just nearly had Josh Allen, but Josh Allen is an escape artist. Meanwhile, Burrow really isn't. He's not a very mobile quarterback. He's not going to run around like Josh Allen did, which I think is good for the Chiefs in this game. And the fact that the Bengals offensive line is just, they're terrible. They've allowed the most sacks in the league this year, and they just skated by the Tennessee Titans in a game where their offensive line gave up 9 sacks. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to get 9 sacks, but if they get anywhere close to that, they will run away with this game.
Yeah, like the Chiefs could sack Joe Burrow twice, and they would still have a really good shot to win this game because I think that they might not have the overwhelming number of sacks, but I'll tell you what, they're going to hit him. They will get to him. They might not result in sacks, but the pressure is going to be there. And we saw in the last game, Chris Jones took the name off of Joe Burrow's back. Like, literally his name got ripped off of his back. And, you know, you mentioned it. Melvin Ingram abused the right tackle of the Buffalo Bills in that game. Basically, I think that the Bengals are a good team, but the Chiefs are a great team. And I think that, you know, we've talked about it. The quarterback matchup, the Chiefs have the advantage. Defense, I would say the Chiefs have the advantage. Offensive line, I think anyone other than the Bengals would have the advantage. And defensive line, I think Chris Jones is going to make himself known. Melvin Ingram is going to be that guy in this game. But I would ask you, what do the Bengals do better than the Kansas City Chiefs?
Like just in general?
Yeah, just what is one aspect of the game that the Bengals are better than the Chiefs? Maybe running the football?
Maybe. And I would maybe say like explosive plays down the field. The Chiefs have kind of went away from that a little bit this year, mostly though because teams have forced them to do that. They're still really good at playing underneath and getting those chunk plays. They haven't had a ton of long balls like they have had in the past. If you're just asking me is there an area that off the top of my head that the Bengals are better than the Chiefs, maybe some explosive plays down the field, plays of 20 yards or more, stuff like that, kind of like what the Bills did after Tyrann Mathieu went down. But I don't – after what Jamar Chase did to them in the first matchup, I think the Chiefs are going to be very well prepared in this game to stop that from happening. I think they're going to bracket Chase, and they're going to dare some of the other Bengals skill position players to beat them. And look, if the Chiefs make the same mistakes they did the first time and Jamar Chase, there's just no answer for him, and they let one singular guy go off like that, that's kind of when we get into the conversation of, does Spags need to go? Because when you let one single guy go off like that against your team twice in 1 year, that's just not a good look. And also, it happened against the Bills with Gabriel Davis. I mean, they just let the same guy over and over and over again just kill them. 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. And I get they didn't have Tyrann Mathieu, and they can point to that. But then that kind of scares me. Like, so your defense is this bad all because one guy isn't there? Like, if Tyrann Mathieu not being there makes the entire secondary fall apart, then that really scares me about what could happen in free agency if they don't re-sign Tyrann Mathieu.
But at the same time, though, like, we don't know what this secondary is going to look like next year. I bet money Dan Sorensen won't be here. I think that you're going to upgrade a lot of those positions. I hope so. Yeah, but I do think Tyrann, because the way that I heard it from the press conferences is that Spags was game planning Tyrann to have a much bigger role in this game. And when he went out, it forced some guys to do some stuff that they weren't really comfortable with and they didn't really practice. And I think if I would have told Mr. Fan before the game against the Bills that Tyrann Mathieu would go out in the first quarter and you would still find a way to win this game defensively, I think you'd take it. Obviously you'd sign up for it. But I think overwhelmingly, outside of a couple big plays, like they gave up that 75-yard touchdown bomb to Gabriel Davis. But I think that would have happened whether or not Tyrann Mathieu was on the field or not. But I think all things considered, they played okay defense for the first 3.5 quarters. Like, they gave the Buffalo Bills some problems. The Buffalo Bills punted more than we did in this game. So I do think, and also we're talking about, if Jamar goes off again. Jamar went off in the first game, had historically one of the best games we've ever seen from a wide receiver.
And still only won by 3.
It took a game-winning field goal. And it took the Chiefs to do nothing in the second half. It's not going to happen in this game. It's just not going to happen in this game.
Yeah, and it's odd that the Chiefs hit a wall in that first game where they only scored 3 points in the second half. They also got a touchdown wiped off the board from the Byron Pringle kick return. And then also Tyreek Hill dropped a ball that was perfectly in his breadbasket that would have likely led to a touchdown. A lot of things went wrong for the Chiefs in that game, and that's why they lost. And also, the officiating was terrible. The head referee in this game is Bill Vinovich. He's actually a very fair referee, so that'll be a good thing. The negative, though, if the Chiefs do win this game and they make it to the Super Bowl, Ron Torbert, the referee from the first Chiefs-Bengals matchup, is going to be the head ref for the Super Bowl. I don't know if you saw that, but Ron Torbert is going to be reffing the Super Bowl.
I thought they said that he couldn't. Which? Because there was a official, like in the Bengals Raiders game, they were so
there was
bad.
another crew. Yeah, they told them that they're not reffing another game in the postseason. That was a different crew.
Man, okay, well, hey, that's a problem that we're gonna have to face when we get there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take that. Yeah. I'll sign up for that problem right now. Just where do I sign? Because that's a problem that I would be okay with. Because right now the Chiefs have just got to be focused on the Bengals. And they match up really well with the Bengals. In fact, I think that outside of the Steelers, you probably match up the best with the Bengals. The Bills were the big fork in the road, the big obstacle that you needed to go through, and you did. And right. You did it in one of the most legendary ways possible. And I think that after that kind of win, I can't see the Chiefs losing this game. Like, it's obviously possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm sure as hell not betting against number 15. Not doing that.
Yeah, how could you? He is playing the best football that he's really ever played in his career. We've seen different versions of Patrick Mahomes, and we've seen Mahomes rise to the occasion, but not really like he has this postseason. 5 straight touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What he did against Buffalo, a near perfect game in the 13-second drive. He is on another level, and it's going to be hard to dethrone him. And it's also going to be hard to dethrone him at home in Arrowhead with a super loud crowd and another Super Bowl on the line. It's the Chiefs' 4th straight AFC championship game, the 4th straight that they've hosted. They're the more experienced team. It would be just kind of foolish to pick the Bengals to win this game. I understand there is a rationale to picking the Bengals, and I'm not saying the Bengals can't win this game, but there's a reason the Chiefs are a 7-point favorite. And there's a reason that they're back in this game once again for the 4th straight year.
After you beat Buffalo, everything else is downhill. Like, literally, I think that those are the 2 best teams in the playoffs. And, you know, we talk about how great Patrick Mahomes was. Josh Allen had a fantastic game. And yet, he still wasn't better than Patrick Mahomes. And I think against the Bengals, who have a far less inferior defense. Their defense is not as good as Buffalo's. And even Buffalo's gave up 42 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs' offense is averaging 42 points per game. The Bengals are not going to stop that. The best they can do is hold them to like 35, I guess. But if they want to have any opportunity to win this game, they're going to have to drop 30.
Well, and it's also funny to me how the Bengals have kind of taken these outcasts from other teams and put them in their secondary and gave them huge responsibilities. Like Eli Apple, that guy was terrible with the Saints. He's been terrible for most of his career. He's a matchup that I think the Chiefs can exploit in this game. And then also Trey Flowers. I have a couple of friends that are Seahawks fans. They hated Trey Flowers. That dude was terrible with the Seahawks. They cut him midseason, and the Bengals picked him up, and now he's playing serious snaps for their defense. And this is not the same defense the Chiefs went up against Buffalo. Buffalo had an amazing secondary. They were missing Tre'Davious White, but you still have Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Teron Johnson, Levi Wallace. You know, that's a really strong group. The Chiefs, with the way Mahomes is playing and the way the offense is rolling, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, they should tear up the Bengals secondary while the offensive line is just dusting the Bengals up front.
Most football games are won within the trenches, and this game, I honestly, I don't think this game is going to be an example of that, really, because I think Patrick Mahomes is the biggest reason why you win this game. I think regardless of whether the Chiefs' offensive line holds up or not, Patrick Mahomes is going to be there. He's going to play. But I also don't think the Bengals force much of a threat rushing the passer. So I think that Mahomes is going to have that time. And the Bengals had a lot of problems stopping tight ends this year. And I think Travis Kelce's going to have himself a game. I think Tyreek Hill's speed. Tyreek Hill's speed is something that we've never seen before. And I still can't get over the fact that he threw up the deuces to someone that was in front of him. Like, it makes no sense how fast he is and the impact that he can have on a game because of his ability to make big-time plays. And at the end of the day, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. That's kind of a tongue twister. The Chiefs have the best trio, they have the best trio the NFL has ever seen in Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. And if your defense just plays average, you're going to run away with this game.
Well, and another aspect I think they could exploit the Bengals defense is, again, I was listening to your show with Ace earlier today, and he talked about how when the Jets were able to upset the Bengals earlier this year, something that they did was just plays out in the flats to the running backs. And the Chiefs are more than capable doing that now with Jerick McKinnon becoming a factor. Jerick McKinnon on screens is dangerous. Jerick McKinnon on dump-offs is dangerous. Clyde is back from the depths of hell. You also have Darrell Williams. I think he's questionable again, but I would imagine that he's active for this game. Repeat that one more time.
I think he'll play. I think he'll play. I think Tyron will play. I think Fenton's on the fence, but I hope Fenton plays.
Well, I don't think Fenton was on the injury report, so I think he's good to go. Unless there was a designation for him I didn't see. I think he's going to play.
That's pretty big because, oh man, Mike Hughes was bad last week, and he was just kind of thrusted into the starting lineup because of injuries. But I would love for him to never touch field on the team again. Like we don't need Mike Hughes. We really don't. And Fenton played really good football this year. And I think that if he comes back, it's just adding another piece that is really, really good. And I just thought of a point that I wanted to make because we were talking about if the Chiefs let Jamar Chase beat them again, that would be really bad, obviously. But I think when you look at it, they held Stephon Diggs. He had 3 catches, or maybe was it 7 catches for 3 yards or 3 catches for 7 yards? I think it was 3 for 7.
Yeah, 3 catches for 7 yards. Yep.
Jamar Chase, if they focus all of their energy at stopping him, he won't have 100 yards. He's talented. Hell, you could make the case right now. He's been better than Stephon Diggs, but he's also a rookie, and rookies generally don't play great all of the time. And I think if the Chiefs throw some stuff at him that he's not used to, probably they bring the safety down and cover him. Like they'll do some stuff to kind of confuse him. And I think the main goal should just be to eliminate Jamar Chase.
Yeah, no, just contain him as much as possible. You said it on your show too. If you can hold him to 150 yards in this game, that's a win. I mean, if he gets 150 yards, cool. And I don't think it's enough to beat the Chiefs. Like, okay, whatever.
Which is absurd,
you just don't let any of the other guys also go off on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Because the Bengals are going to have to put up points in this game. They have not been the offensive juggernaut that we're used to seeing in the regular season and the postseason. They're going to have to put, they're going to have to put up upwards of 30 points in this one if they want to win.
I agree. Like, we haven't seen them do it consistently, but we have seen the Chiefs do it consistently, and that's going to be a pretty big factor in this game.
Absolutely. Also, I want to look back at the defense real quick before we wrap it up and get predictions. I think in this game that the Chiefs need to let their defensive line go to work. Spags doesn't need to be overly aggressive with the blitz. That's what killed you last time, the all-out blitz on 3rd and 27, letting Chase go one-on-one on Charvarius Ward, who's a fine cornerback, but Jamar Chase is way more talented than him. He's going to win that matchup almost every single time if they're going to be throwing up 50-50 balls. But there's just no reason to blitz Burrow like that. Maybe you can blitz a defensive back off the edge every once in a while, or blitz a linebacker. You don't need to bring the house. The defensive line was winning this matchup last time, and Spags just unnecessarily blitzed. Melvin Ingram I think he's hungry. This is really his first stretch of like postseason success in his NFL career. How bad he wants it. Chris Jones is going to do his thing. Frank Clark's got to step up in this game. We haven't really seen the playoff Frank Clark that everyone likes to talk about.
He's been saving it for this game.
This needs to be a game where he steps up.
He's been saving it for this game.
I hope so, man. I hope so. And then Jaron Reed, he came up big against the Bills. You're going to need to see him continue pushing to Sean Morton. And then Colin Saunders is back off IR. I'm not sure how big of a factor he'll be in this game, but he's back. That's depth. So what do you think the plan is on defense?
I think the plan on defense should be I want to see them blitz, but I think, like you said, it needs to be timely. It's not just, it's 3rd and 50. Let's decide to send everyone. No, don't do that. I also think that they should blitz a lot more on 1st and 2nd downs. Now, that's kind of contrary to popular belief because usually you blitz on 3rd down or maybe 4th down. But I think you get them into those 3rd and long situations, and then you just drop everybody back and let your 4-man rush go to work, because I would rather see the Bengals in a hole on 1st and 2nd down than to send everybody on 3rd down, because while it is likely that you can get to them, the Bengals are going to be aggressive in this game. They're going to go for some 4th downs because that's how you have to play to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So be on the lookout for that. I think you blitz 1st and 2nd downs. I think you got to double Jamar. I like the idea of press because press man coverage just makes the other team beat you. That's basically saying our best guy is better than your best guy. But I think Jamar might be better than our best guy. So I think that they got to handle that a little bit differently. But other than that, just kind of play the bend but don't break style of defense, and you should be pretty fine in this game.
Yeah, don't let the Bengals do what they did last time. Also, let's hope the refs don't bail them out on every single 3rd down when they don't convert.
Yeah.
Let's hope L'Jarius Sneed doesn't get flagged for tackling a guy legally, because that's the stuff that killed them, really. But I do think Spags is going to have his moments in this game where, he Spags, he's Spags. He's going to be Spags. And
Spags got a Spags.
He's going to do things that maybe we wouldn't all agree with. He's going to make personnel decisions. Yeah, he's going to make personnel decisions that we don't always agree with. But I do think he learned something from that last match, Jamar Chase, and not do some of the stuff that killed him last time. And they said it after the game, too. Tyrann Mathieu, Steve Spagnuolo, a lot of the defensive players, they said, we probably should have done something different. So, they acknowledged it, and that, the first step in fixing a problem is admitting you have a problem. And I think they admitted that they did the wrong thing against the Bengals last time. So I think the defense will clean things up. And then you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side who's playing out of his mind. And I don't think, he doesn't lose games like these. And that's the biggest reason why I think Chiefs fans should be optimistic, is because you got Mahomes and he is just the best thing we've ever seen.
I couldn't agree more. I think defensively they'll do just enough, and offensively, Patrick Mahomes is going to come up in this game, and he's going to look kind of like what he did in 2019 and what he did last week against the Bills. He's going to put the team on his back. He's going to put him on his back, and he's going to take them to another Super Bowl. He's done it for the past 2 years. This year is not going to be different. I think they're going to win this game. And Josh, we're going to the fucking Super Bowl. Sorry for my language, but we're going to the Super Bowl potentially.
Yeah.
And you'll be there. You will be at the game to see it happen in front of you.
And I will see the trophy presentation, and I will be probably on YouTube live streaming whenever they do. So be tuned in for that. But I think
I'll be the first one to like it.
that pretty much ends our preview for this game. But before we go, I'd like to get a score prediction from you, Michael. How do you think this game goes, and what's your final score?
I think this is a game where the Chiefs come out and just right away they just show we're the best team in the NFL. We're just better than you, Cincinnati. You had a nice little run, but the big dogs are out and they're going to beat you. I think the Chiefs are going to control this game from start to finish. The Bengals might go up by like 3, but the Chiefs are going to come roaring back. And I think they win this game by a final score of 38-28. I think they win by 10 points. They cover the spread. I don't think that the Bengals are going to be able to put up a ton of points. They've not shown the ability to, at least in the playoffs. And, there's death, taxes, and Patrick Mahomes dropping at least 30. And I think that's what he's going to do in this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. My final score is 35-23. I think, kind of like you said, the Chiefs control the game from the start. The Bengals they come close a few times, but they just don't have quite enough gas to take the lead at any point or anything like that. And the Chiefs win this one to advance to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. So that's all I got. Michael, thank you so much for joining me. And real quick, where can people find you on social media, and how can they find your content?
You guys can find me on YouTube. Obviously, that is just KC Sports Report. Instagram is KC_Sports Report, and Twitter is @KC Sports Report. And make sure to follow Josh if you haven't already. I don't know why you'd even be here if you don't, but Josh and I have been grinding really hard over the past couple of weeks, and we are giving the people what they want. We're giving them the best content that we can possibly provide. And I think that over time, when we look back at this, we are going to see how correct we were about the Chiefs' Super Bowl run.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And we appreciate you guys that are watching. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, why are you here? So with that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you go check out Michael's stuff, which will be linked in the description. And with all that being said, we will see you all in the next one.